Oh, yeah, there we go. Caught that. It happens. It happens. Yeah, and I've mentioned it. My mute button, it glows red. My little pads here, they're all different colors. But even so, when it's muted, it turns bright red. But when it's not muted, it's still red. So it's hard to tell sometimes. So I thought it was unmuted. We were muted. Sorry about that, folks. I was like welcoming everyone in. I dropped my copyright disclaimer in the beginning under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, doing that for the algorithm. And yeah, what I was talking about yesterday, a Blazer, I was like, Blazer, thank you for being the first one in here and sharing some footage with me this morning. I'm catching you all up on what I was saying before I unmuted myself. So embarrassing when that happens. But we're not feeling it that much this time. Hopefully, y'all had a good day today. Yeah, I had the day off. Ran a couple errands. What's up, Gerald? And yeah, so I was thanking Blazer for sharing some footage with me this morning, sharing his skies out there. His skies were looking how our skies look out here. I'm always complaining about our skies out here, how they're always, out there farting around with those planes. And man, he was getting it out there. I was like, whoa. It was an interesting little clip. And I was also mentioning that earlier tonight, it looks like there was another Falcon 9. I'm assuming it's another Falcon 9 rocket launch out of Vandenberg Air Force Base, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where they do that. And so you see that streak across LA. We've caught it live too during live streams, you know, uh, and it leaves a weird streak in the sky and people trip out on it. And they've been shooting a whole lot of those, and I was able to catch it tonight as well. As around what, maybe past 8 o'clock, I think it was. And Tina C, we'll see if she hops in here in the chat, sent me some video, and then my brother sent me some video. I took a picture. I was in South Pasadena at the time, so I pulled over, and there was a bunch of trees in the way and stuff. But I was able to get a little picture of the tail. But I think bro got pretty good footage. Yeah, he's good at getting footage, and a lot of times he shares it with me. So we'll have a look at that as well. Anyone able to see that? Maybe in another state, or is it just us here in Southern California? The Bud Files. What's up? I've seen it live from Covina, says Blazer. Right on. I'd be hanging out that way, Blazer. Saw a stage separate from it. What's Minxie talking about? Where's Chiro Sounds? What's up, girl? Hopefully you had a good day. Fountains. The Fountains. My adopted parents. Yeah, we got to hang out a little bit. There's a few chats. I seen Midwest Night Watchers in. It's funny sometimes it's hard to pronounce Midwest Night Watchers. I remember stumbling on that a lot, and I've noticed other people do too. It's a cool name. I love it. But who I forget who it was, but that was like Midwest Night Stalkers, and I was like, oh, creepy. So I think Coley was live earlier tonight. Cool show with Maya Starfire, and they had an interesting guest over there talking about UFOs and stuff. I had to go run to the market. Y'all have Trader Joe's out there? You ever heard of Trader Joe's? They recently had a recall. I think what was it? Don't tell me it was the waffles, dude. I'll have to double check that. That'll be crazy if it is. Why am I thinking that? Well, they were talking waffles all day on Jessica's show. Anyone eat waffles after that today? And y'all see when Barry Littleton warped out to the Waffle House? That was that was wild. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to double check that. Here, watch, I could do it. Because I remember sending my sister that. And there's been some a little sketchy on Trader Joe's stuff sometimes. There's a few things I get there. Prices are reasonable, but watch out what you get. Um, and I've talked about that I've worked for a big natural food store before, and so I'm all about. I like markets and stuff. I love doing the farmers market too, but and if you could grow your own, that's the best, right? That homegrown by your own green thumb. Oh, it was a focaccia bread. Warning. And that was like maybe last week sometime. It's a pizza focaccia bread. Said something about metal fragments, and I don't know. That is confirmed, but that was on some platform. Anyway, I shared that out. I shared that out when stuff like that goes around. What's up, Ohio Grassman? Is he up in here? What up, Rich Shot? Bobo Dread, yeah, man. Got the crown wrapped up now. I'm so happy with this new headgear, man. I was busting out of my old stuff, and my sister lined me up with this one. It took a bit. She said it came from France. It took a while, but finally it's here, and yeah, it's really comfortable. So I needed it. And there's Chiro sounds. Right on, Chi. How you feeling today, Chi? Hopefully well. We're gonna get into some stuff. There's been some more reports added to the mapping project. I know Bigfoot Society has been doing some shorts on their YouTube, and I think they were at 3. And yesterday we went through them, right? We went through several of the reports, those Canadian Ontario reports, and we'll have a look again today because some more have popped up. I think there's one out of Texas and one in Michigan again. And yeah, it's Michigan's been on fire lately too, along with Ohio. There was the Monroe County Bigfoot report. We touched on that quite a bit, brought it up after the stream we did on that whole case. There was a father and son, and I think even Small Town Monsters covered it, and it was all over the news. And so, yeah, I was questioning it even after, like, how is it that certain reports get to the news level? The Ohio flap, I understand because it was just like one after another. So I could see how they would want to cover that. And a lot of times the news will just kind of, the anchors and stuff will joke around. And I've seen a couple of good ones. I think there was one where some anchors shared some stuff related to like Bigfoot or UFOs while they're reporting on it. But still up in Anchorage, says Richard. What up, bro? Yeah, I seen you got the post earlier. I did post that we were gonna go live tonight for a bit. And I did get a notification on the Citizens app of Pursuit, but no one was broadcasting it. So guess we won't be watching that one. And speaking of the Pursuit, that was also something I was speaking about when I was muted in the beginning. So heads up, folks, we were muted in the beginning. Man, that's like 3 times this month. I'm gonna have to get a timeout and take care of Candy Wolf. Have a good one. Be sure to check out the stream later. You might find it interesting. I know it's late, but I like these late night streams. I feel, real comfortable. And I feel like I don't know, maybe people don't stay up as late anymore. But I'm glad y'all are here. And so the pursuit yesterday, I got an update. The suspect made it to Barstow, California. Of course, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the movie comes to mind. uh, of course, Baker also. They didn't make it to Baker. But yeah, just that whole road trip there. We also seen so the choppers had backed off because they needed to refuel. We got that notification from Gerald, gave us an update, and we had seen what's up, Coley. We are just mentioning you and your show earlier and Maya Starfire, and that was and your guest. It was a good show. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I had gone to the market. I was listening along the way, and interesting cat. He wrote a book on God, y'all. That was I was like, whoa, that's intense. When you hear that calling, man, you better get the right. The Lord tells you to do something, you better do it quick and with precision. All right. And so yeah, the suspect got apprehended, got hemmed up, didn't quite make it to Vegas, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they were headed. And I don't even think that's a good idea. I don't think there's been some chases that have headed out that way. But yeah, didn't make it. Not like that lady that made it across the border not too long ago. That lady had skills. She straight drove across the border, folks. Who remembers watching that one? We streamed that. I think we might have done a replay on that one, but wild stuff. And yeah, we got some other wild news we'll probably get into here in a bit. Let's just go ahead and pull up the map here for my squatchy heads that are here for the Bigfoot news. So yeah, it's been 3 reports out of Ontario, Canada. And keep in mind, this is how like the Ohio flap started. Bigfoot Society. Jeremiah had read one of these, and he's really plugged in with getting reports and just casting out to get this type of information. Um, and so it was no surprise that he started getting hit up and started getting a lot of info on the Ohio stuff. And I'm sure he's still getting info, and he'll probably update us as soon as he gets a chance or as soon as there's something to update. And yeah, he's plugged in with some guys that are boots on the ground out there as well. And I know MT Paranormal, I'm very familiar with those guys. I know they're out that way also. And a few of us here actually tonight, let's see, still got to line that up. There's someone who's out, I believe, in the Ohio area finding the trackway. Still got to line him up and get him in here and talk about what is going on out that way because he had some other information pertaining to Bigfoots in that area. So I'm anxious to talk to him. Let's go like that. Was the map not showing? Damn it. All right, here it is. And so you can see Michigan's lit up again, and that's why I was talking Michigan earlier. Uh who knows where Monroe County is? Was it down here somewhere? It's like southern Michigan, and I believe there was some other. Yeah, there's this blue report. So there was a report not too long ago, just north of this green one. And sometimes we dig further. We go into other websites and check out those counties and stuff like that. I didn't do all that for this, but I will bring up the Monroe County incident since it was a more popular one, and that was just last year, I think I want to say. Um, so I want to look at the Canada stuff right quick, and I believe these orange ones are the ones we read yesterday. So this is four. All right, 4/6. What's the date today? So we are 4/6, right? So this could be a new one. I don't know. So drop in the squatch there, and I recommend you drop them as well, just to because sometimes I mentioned the reports will overlap. It seems like see how it looks kind of greenish here. So we'll see what it says. And I talked about them doubling up also. All right. It says 4/6/26. So this is Easter, 3:37 a.m. That's early. 7 foot 8 inches, a male, and it says it vocalized. So we're gonna hit our vocals here. And Coley, anyone else with a channel or some links to share, y'all know what to do. Chop it up. Feel free to share tonight's show or any upcoming shows. Network, y'all. And don't forget to take notes. I'm gonna pull my pencil out here. Take some notes if you'd like. And it says it was a male vocalist. It did vocalize. And it says early this morning, enjoying my Easter Monday stroll, thinking I was safe as I heard it was by Shrewsbury. So what the heck? Let's see. So he was thinking I was safe as I heard it was by Shrewsbury when I was alerted to a noise in the neighboring lot. I went. There were two of them, one big, one not so big. The cinnamon was prominent on the smaller one. They were eating what appeared to, and it says garbage, but maybe to be garbage. The rapper said Circle K. Uh-oh. Getting that Circle K grub. That's funny. There was an earthly stench. And that's funny that they used that description because some of the descriptions yesterday also used an earthly, exactly that earthly smell. So that, raising a little flag over here, a little red flag. Could it be someone just from Ontario deciding to drop reports? Got to question all this. At least I do. And again, we got to mention my disclaimer. You never know with these reports. We'd like to read them. It's a database. Is it, are they real? We've read bogus ones. So just a heads up, we will just take what we can out of it. And if there's something we could put in our notes, then we will. Put a feather in the hat, whatever. So there was an earthly stench. I knocked on wood to scare them off. So he did wood knocks to try and scare him off. What's going on? That's different. They knocked back. That scared me off. Okay. I have never felt so threatened in my community of guilds. We need the National Guard. All right. And it says, did you see any young Bigfoot? And it says, yes, with parents. So he did describe another one looking cinnamon color. And it says, yes, that it left tracks. So dark cinnamon with highlights. And yeah, I don't think we read that. I don't remember reading that yesterday. So we're going to keep dropping the squatch here and see what this other report says because it's not far. And there's guilds. So I guess it's a place. And so, yeah, you see. So remember I mentioned about reports popping up right next to each other. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Ooh, mushrooms. Sorry, I clicked the diamond right there. Gotta click right on the report. Let's see. Give me 1 second. There it is. All right. So this is the day before 4/5/26. Okay. So we're gonna try and keep note of the dates as well. And then this one I think we might have read. Yeah, this is one with the golden retriever. So we read this yesterday, 4/5/26. So up here is the next day. And then you got one further north, way north of there. And this one's 4/4. Okay, so 4/4/26, and I'm sure we read that one as well. So maybe this one down here is the latest one, as it's 4/6. And And I'm just scanning it really quick. Yep, I believe we read this. All right. So we're going to zoom out and we'll hop to this other one. Just follow the dots and see. So this is 4/6/26. So another one for yesterday. And it says 2:27 a.m., 8-footer, male. No vocalization on this one. And it says, I was driving in a thick wooded swamp in the distance. I could see him crossing my high beams. By the time I got up to him, he was already back in the woods. Quick report, brown cinnamon on that one. All right. And that's quite a distance from 4/6 down here. Interesting, same description of color, but maybe the Squatch teleported up that way. I don't know. How did he get up there so fast? And as you can see, there's some other red reports. This one's kind of orangey. But the red reports, I think, are more of a class A type report, meaning there's going to be some details. Or maybe not necessarily class A, but there's going to be some details. Some of the different color squatches, like the yellow ones we've noticed, are sometimes references to books or references to other websites like the BFRO and stuff like that, which is still pretty cool to have that information in one place too. So here is another 4/5. All right. So here's another second report from 4/5/26, and this one's at 12:02. And of course, it'd be good to jot down the time on these and have a look, see what the time differences are between the reports. And this one says a 7.5-footer. Darn, I'm gonna pull up the monitor here so I can see the chat. My bad, chat. And what's up to anyone I might have missed? If anyone else has hopped in here. 1 second. There we are. There it is. Appreciate that. What up, Gnome Drew? Got Andrew in the house. What up, Diesel in New Jersey? Elder Medicine Bear Claw. Made some GR chili verde fresh. Wow. Spanish rice for dinner. How is everyone? We're feeling irie. Hope you're feeling well as well. And that sounds good. Would you do chile rellenos? Let's see. So 7.5-footer, and this one mentions that it's a male, and it did vocalize as well. And here we go. Let's have a read here. Well, let's have a look. All right, not too bad. And we'll do our best not to fumble. It says, at first we heard an odd howling. And it wasn't like, oh no, we read this. We read this. It wasn't like a dog. Yeah. So we did read this. So let's see what's next to it. It's possible we read the one next to it because yesterday we did read several. So this one. So here is another one that I believe is doubling up. So this is what I was talking about. We're gonna drop the Squatch, and we're gonna click this report again. So it says, oh yeah, this is the 421. All right. And I'm just going through it. I think we read this as well. Okay, so this one's on 420. So yeah, this is last year. My bad. Should have looked at the year there. Let's see what this one says over here. So this is the 4/5/26. So 7.5 foot male. and this is one we read. So I believe touched on that yesterday. Now let's see what else is going on here because there's some other. Look at that. There's more green ones up here. It's possible we read those as well. This one I know we touched on. It might have been the first one we seen in the Ontario area before everything. Oh no, is it? Let's see. Nope, that's an older one. All right. This one over here near Kingston, Man. Let's see what this one says. All right, that's an older one also. And it's pretty long. I don't know if we read this. Let's check it out. So it says 5512, 9:45 p.m. And we'll read it because it's green in case we didn't read it yesterday. But if I do catch myself recognizing some of the report, then I'll just cut it there. But it says I was driving home to Kingston, pulled over on the side of the road to text my husband. And it says well sitting, but I think while sitting on the side of the road with my headlights on, it came out of the tree line about 25 feet in front of me. It slowed as it came to the side of the road, then kind of looked around and then moved quickly to the other side and down into the ditch and into the trees again. I was not able to get a good look at the color or features, but it moved quickly on two legs and had the movement of an ape. I sat stunned for a bit, just trying to wrap my head around what I just saw. I then moved the car up to the area I saw it crossed and looked to see if I could see anything else, but it was too dark. I have never heard stories of Bigfoot in this area, but the land between Perth and Kingston has always been associated with strange things and weird sightings. So it did not surprise me to actually see something. And it says brown here. So that was a good one. 5512. Bit of a throwback there. And then over this way, what's this here? Is that Halls Lake? Let's see what this says here. Whoa, Elder Medicine Bear Claw. I see that. Big up. Hold on. Let's see. Boom. We're going to heart that. And then we could give you some hearts like this too. And we did talk about a donation last night. We're going to bring that up again. Oh, you're not giving out hearts over here, camera? What happened? There we go. Those are for you, Elder Medicine Bear Claw. Some love. We appreciate your love too. Hopefully I didn't miss anything else like that. I'll try and keep an eye. I'm gonna have two eyes like that, one on the monitor, one over here. Um, boom. Where were we? All right, over here, right quick. Let's see, 11 to 24, 7 p.m. So this is 2024, and it did vocalize. Can we get our vocals back? Yes, sir. Boom. It says, my brother and I were at the end of our dock taking pictures of the stars with our new phones when a distinct rang out within 200 meters of us, and a confirmation call responded across the lake. Whoa. Our guess was the Squatch on the west side swam across and called out to let the others know it crossed safely. November water's cold, needless to say. We shuffled back into the cottage rather quickly that night. I've been going up my I've been going up my entire life. No wildlife calls, screams, and nothing compares to these calls. The vocal ranges were more human ape versus cat, deer, fox, or crow calls. These calls matched 100%, 100% to Squatch calls. All right, interesting. So 11/2/24, and again Halls Lake, and look just north of there again, kind of north, yeah, northeast a bit, slightly over in the Algonquin Provincial Park. And let's see what this says. So this is 10/17/14, 8 a.m., a 6.5 footer. No vocalization on this one. And it says, and it's possible we may have read this. So heads up here. Let's see. Because I remember reading one about Algonquin yesterday. Yep. This is the one that, yeah, they canoed to another part of the lake and went on shore for a rest. Yeah, we read this yesterday. So check this out. Uh, if you'd like to read those report or hear those reports, check out yesterday's stream if you didn't, and take a look at this one right quick. So this is 3/27/26. All right, so another fresh one. The ending of last month, and it says 112. And did we read this? I don't know. It says it vocalized. It says, I'm from this town and I was out at night for a walk. I know, very late. It helps me clear my mind. I was wandering through the trees and I couldn't shake this feeling of being watched. So that sounds familiar. It's possible. I think we read this. Let's see. Let's go a little further. It's not uncommon that this happens, but this time felt a bit more real. I tried to ignore it. I had a pocket knife with me just in case anything happened. Yep. Sometimes I'm just down to that too, bro. Hey, better than nothing. And I wasn't too far from my home. Shortly after this feeling, I hear something scuttling in the bush. At first, it sounded like a small animal, but then the sound started multiplying. It went from perhaps a small bunny, the small Easter bunny, to the sound of the intense rustling. Then this intense growling came from where I heard the rustling. I have never been this petrified in my life. This intense fear washed over me. And then finally, I saw them. It had to have been 20, maybe 30 very small baby. Oh, see, baby Bigfoots, 20 to 30 of them. They got us. They got us. We'll keep going here. So this is what we got to watch out for, folks. So it says 20 to maybe 30 very small baby Bigfoots. They looked almost alien. They were uncanny. Let's see. I decked it anyway. Damn. Did- Here, hold up. We got one for that one. Is that what he means? And honestly, I've been scared to leave my house since. You never know what's going on in the world anymore. Yes, without parent. When I asked, did you see little Bigfoot? Darn it. Anyway, so could this be the same person adding all these reports right now? I don't know. It could be. Just a heads up, that's why we gotta that's why I enjoy reading these with y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Big Silencer in the house. What up, my ninja? Hold up, man. We're gonna give you a shield. Oh, hold up. Go to chat. Add as moderator. Boom. So Big Silencer in the chat here. Gonna big him up. He came through and performed at the Catalyst, which is our venue next to the shop. Yeah. This is the brother. This is the brother who had a workshop, and his son break dances. I believe his queen DJs. So it's a hip hop family function. And yeah, they had a workshop teaching how to use spray cans, how to dance, break dance, how to were you teaching how to DJ, bro? I don't know if there were DJ classes going on, but I was next door on duty, but it was, man, it was an honor to have him bless uh the catalyst, and hopefully we work outside. I think they might be working out something else, so we might be having big silence back. And I know we talked about, having you on here on the show and talking about some things, and maybe we could line that up, bro. Um and yes, he is very much in touch with his Native American roots. Yeah, so we got to talking about that, and that's always interesting to me. I love hearing about that type of stuff too. And we know that the natives and Bigfoot, and they go way back. And so maybe he has some stories from his tribe or his areas. And again, so yeah, feel free to post the link of your channel, bro, or somebody in the chat may share his channel out. And I'm recently new to his channel too, so I'll be diving in there and checking out some of his content. So heads up, and that's only if you'd like, brother. It's no pressure. So I think, yeah, this report we covered yesterday, because I remember pointing out this uh other interesting looking colored report up here. It's a few squatches if you dive down there. We didn't really check that out, but anyway, we're gonna take a quick peek just to make sure. And yeah, this is a throwback from the 70s. You can see there 77. And I do love those old school Bigfoot reports as well. Are these reports all bogus? Who knows? All these new fresh reports. You can see all these green ones lit up, the ones we just kind of scanned through. It's up to you to decide. But yeah, I have my red flags up for sure. I'm questioning all of them. And we're gonna head on over to Michigan, not too far, over on the US side of things here. And we could see Kalamazoo, a little farther down south from this report here. We're gonna drop the squatch and see what's going on. See, there's a yellow one there. Let's see what the yellow one says. And just citing 2002 through '05. All right. Here we are in Michigan. Hopefully, Bigfoot Michigan Rob will be checking this out. Maybe he could give us some insight. 33125, 953. No height, no sex, but we got a vocalization on this one. And let's see what it says here. Loud off the distance, howl 3 times. There's two. It woke me and my partner in the middle of the night. We both were alert and asked each other, what was that sound? My partner knows animal sounds. It was like no other. All right, some vocalizations there. Interesting. And I'm sure, yeah, if you hear some vocals, unless it's, some Bigfooters around there call blasting, y'all know what call blasting is, right? In case you don't know what call blasting is, it's when you use like either a megaphone or some sort of speaker and you blast off some Bigfoot sounds or just any sort of sounds. We've done elk calls and like different animal sounds. Our buddy Ron, shout out Ron Reed, trailing the giants. Where you at, homie? Yeah, he was blasting off all sorts of crazy animal sounds. Didn't get feedback that time, but it was interesting to hear. And yeah, so we're gonna head on down because Texas is also lit up with a green report here. And this one I did take a look at just in case. There wasn't much. It was just another vocalization. But here we have the Big Thicket National Reserve. And oh yeah, we've heard a whole lot about the big thicket. Yeah, from what I hear is that the Sasquatches out there, the Bigfoots out there are aggressive. And yeah, I don't know, that's scary. And some say it could be because the people are also, and maybe because they're hot and bothered. Huh. What do you think? Why are they so aggressive out that way? Are they aggressive out that way? I think so. Something about Texas, man. Yeah. Call blasting. Let's see. Try it. Call blasting. Yeah, we call blast here. Yeah, I mentioned, remember what some guys were at Bluff Creek and they Bart, the homie Bart. If you know Bart, you know Bart. Uh, call blasted the Sierra sounds. Oh man, that sounded wicked out there because it was just loud. It was at night, and it just gave a whole different vibe. I didn't notice it. I think that was the night possibly that I had that weird incident with the bumper. Something was pushing down on the bumper of my truck. Talked about that. So I was, yeah, one of the. I think I've been with Bart a couple times at Bluff Creek. So, but yeah, I think that was the time that happened. All right, so I don't see anything else here, and we'll go ahead and refresh this on the spot just in case anything pops up while we're at it. Been getting in the habit of doing that. And what up, Jeff? Good to see you, Jeff, brother Jeff in the house. And Jeff, we got to get Jeff on, folks. Jeff, there was a incident called, what do they call it? The Knott's Berry Farm Bigfoot incident. And Jeff's got some insight on that whole situation. And no pressure, Jeff. Just hit me up, bro. That's gonna be a good one, man. Hopefully we make that happen. That I'm excited, really excited for. So chat, maybe pressure Jeff. So yeah, there you go on the Bigfoot front. Let's see what else we got going on. I did share a couple of posts, really good ones. So one was of, let's see here. We'll go check that out. We're gonna head over to my channel really quick. So if you've been following Bigfoot Mania 2026 as I have, following all the drama and all this stuff, yeah, it's we're in that state right now in the Bigfoot world, and it's all good, you know, as long as you're not, it's not uh making you pull your hairs out, then we're good. But we hear a lot of things going on, and we won't focus on that too much. But this is another interesting. I love checking out, documentaries of all kinds, but this is Bigfoot related and pertaining to what's been happening right now with the whole Patterson Gimlin situation and the homegirl Nikki over at Sasquatch Secrets. Yeah, she's been sharing quite a bit and some really good stuff. And this is another one I recommend checking it out if you've been keeping up or if you're interested in finding out, from both sides what's going on and trying to get some of the details and information. And it's just an interesting time for all this right now, especially for the Bigfoot subject. We won't be forgetting this year, that's for sure. And Jeff says, I have another weird. Oh, you have another other weird stuff that has happened to you in your life as well. Yeah, we could talk about all that, man. That'd be a good one. But yeah, anyone check this out yet? And again, if you haven't, checked out Sasquatch Secrets, it's a good channel. If you're into the Bigfoot topic, I recommend it. And so yeah, I checked this out earlier today, and whoa, I've been asking about the camera lately. They talked about the camera, and I think they mentioned because I was like, what happened? I heard the camera supposedly had gotten confiscated by three-letter agency, and And they talked about the camera. Yeah, that supposedly it was rented and never got returned. And so something happened there, but they didn't mention anything about the three-letter agency, and they get into a bunch of other stuff. And so again, peep that one and give me some feedback. If you do check it out, let me know what you think. Also, I Pine Island Research, Jeff Harding. Yeah, I've been seeing him back around lately. It's good to see him around. And he's just one of those solid heads. He's had his experience with Bigfoot, and I couldn't find his channel, but I did hear that he is starting up a new podcast, and I'll have to check a link for when I heard him mention that, and I'll be sharing that out if I get any more information, because I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know if he maybe got rid of his channel, but a bunch of his stuff that was on Untold Radio Network is still up, so you can still find that under Pine Island Research, and you'll see there'll be like a Untold Radio Network. I think some sort of playlist or something like that. So some of his shows are still up, and yeah, man, I think he's just one of those dudes that is really serious about it, and I trust his judgment, and yeah, he's had me on his show when he had that up and going. So again, thank you to Jeff, and yeah, can't wait to see what he's gonna bring back to the table. Yeah, always had some great ideas, and yeah, someone to look out for sure. What else do we have on the Bigfoot front? Let me check my did scribble a few notes. So yeah, Harry Man Road again, once again, working on a website with some real like some actual confirmed data. So I'm excited to hear about that. And he mentioned also an interactive map. So I know I can only imagine, keeping up a website. It's not going to be easy, but he has, I guess, skills in that field. So maybe it will be for him, and I can't wait for that to come out. We've been geeking out on these different websites here. Some of the websites have been questionable. One of them, of course, has been brought up a whole lot with recent things happening and about the reports, people complaining about stuff, and yeah, we've gotten into all that. But we still check it out, and so yeah. Anyway, what else? I did miss out on sharing something yesterday, and I didn't know how to present it because it was a rough situation. And what's up, Michelle? How you doing? We're gonna. It's been a minute. Hand out another shield there. Boom. Y'all networking. What's going on in the chat? Um. So yesterday we brought up this case of a mauling, and we heard that through Jessica Jones' show. And I was mentioning how I've seen the newsreel or one of the newsreels, and it was just pretty crazy how people. I felt like people were jumping the gun in the chat, and just because people were going automatically to Dogman, if you're not familiar, Dogman is like a werewolf type creature, and man, there's been a whole lot of reports and of these things, and I don't go out looking for them. That's not my thing. But if they pop up and want to jump on camera, shoot. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And but yeah, I don't necessarily like even thinking about them when I'm out in the field or camping or whatever. Some of you are out there looking for these things. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have a FAFO moment with those. And Bigfoot either. I pray that the next Bigfoot encounter will be peaceful. Not that the others weren't. I just had, visual sightings, quick road crossing type. But it'd be cool to, get a good visual and luckily not have anything bad happen. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so that certain situation, the newsreel, I listened to it and they supposedly changed. They first thought it was a dog that attacked the lady, and then it switched to a dog-like creature. And And so I was questioning, I was like, "Yeah, we can't jump to Dogman yet," especially in this serious situation. It's kinda wild, but the internet, is the internet, and people go there. Anyway, so, yeah, I was questioning it, and then they brought it up, and she's gonna bring it up again on her next show, I believe, so be sure to check that out. And, just, for me, I was like, "All right, well, what" I started doing what we do here. I was like, Let's have a look and check to see if we could find anything along those lines." And I did look up some things, and there was something that popped up. It was like a mauling of dogs. Fortunately, this older lady, and I think it happened in a neighboring county, and we've heard of stuff like that happening before. Um, but this part of Oklahoma is known to have like these cryptids, like Dogman. I guess you could say werewolves too, and Bigfoot and other stuff. And so I'm aware of that. And I've only driven through Oklahoma. Got some vibes there too. Just drove through, and there were some hilly areas where I was like, "Oh yeah." And at the time, I wasn't into this stuff, but I just remember it now that I look back. But um, so I was like, "All right, let me look into this and see if there's anything, like maybe some other wild animal attacks in the area." We had brought up all the wild animal attacks that have been happening out here in Southern California and different areas too. So it's like something's up with the wildlife, I think. And it could be just people too, being not thinking about things and getting themselves in trouble. But uh yeah, so I was like, let's look around. And Jeff in the chat actually shared this. It's interesting. And again, we don't know these websites, some of these reports are interesting, but are they for real? You never know. And I want to share. So Jeff shared this map here with us a while back, and it's interesting because it gets into like different cryptids and stuff like that. And so I just out of curiosity, I did do a search of the area, and I believe the area she this happened in Blanco, Oklahoma, and I believe it's Pittsburgh County. And you can see right there, there's Blanco. There, let me make sure you can see that. All right, Blanco there, Pittsburgh County, if I'm not mistaken. And this map here that Jeff shared with us actually brought up a couple reports not too far. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting, Um, but are these reports for real? Actually, some of them are references also to, I believe, it's Linda Godfrey's book, but there were a few with some actual reports in them. So yeah, this one here you can see Anubis like Dogman, and this is referring to Linda's book there, True Encounters. So I would take it that maybe she has something in her book from that particular area. And then clicking this one up here, you could see it says Dogman at swimming hole. So when Mike was 11, he went to a local swimming hole about a mile outside of his hometown, Gurdy, Oklahoma, to beat the heat. Four friends. It was a typical July day. That is until a dogman showed up and ruined the good time Mike and his friends were having. Yeah, I'm sure Dogman will do that. But yeah, it's pretty weird that some stuff did come up. But as far as like newsreels or anything like that, any other information I could not find. I didn't go too deep. But if anyone out there does or has any more information, I know I forget the guest she's gonna have on her next show, Jessica. But I believe he's from the area or from Oklahoma. But yeah, you can see there's a bunch of other reports here. And again, some of these reports from this site have been really interesting. Some have been, just like every other site. But yeah, just something to look at. I thought, I was like, hold on, let's have a look and see what some of these reports say. And I did find another database, but I don't know how let's see, and it is Dogman, I think, or werewolf related, but I don't know how good those databases would be. So again, let me have a second. Here we go. So there's this here, and I believe this might be I don't know. I know there's a group, and we know some of the people from that particular Dogman group. So I don't know if that's it. NADF, North American Dogman. What federation is it, or what is that? I'm not sure, but I want to say this organization might ring a bell. So anyway, I went through it, checked it out, and I didn't. I mean, there were some cool things, but nothing really of you know the meat was missing. There were some potatoes, but yeah, just some few interesting things to go through. But yeah, I don't know if there's any other databases that you think we should check out. Anybody, let us know. I'd be willing to take a look at that. Let's see. Maya says your eyes. Oh, really? You know what? I've been kind of noticing that too over here. I wonder if it's something they're putting out there every so often. And I'm like, I try not to look at like certain lights and stuff like that because I'll get this like weird little blurriness. It's weird. So yeah, I'll be following this case for sure. And I mentioned us making a small donation using some of the super chats and stuff we gotten. So I'll be working on that later tonight. And yeah, I definitely sent a prayer out to that family, and hopefully she makes a speedy recovery. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? So I think as far as cryptids, we might be good on that front. One thing I did also want to mention, I want to slide into a whole other topic. We've been covering some of the missing persons cases happening as of late, which is like some of these cases, high, I guess you could say high profile now. There's a missing general, Air Force, ex Air Force general, right? And then Monica Reza's case, who we're following, who may be tied to that possibly because they work together. And there's been a string of other well-known or high profile either scientists, physicists, and stuff like that that has been happening. So we did a little stream covering some of those cases, and this one came to my attention today from old Rusty, and it says here. So this one is interesting because this is right near where the Nancy Guthrie case, which has been like headlining over all these other, cases, other of over other news as well. It's crazy, and still no sign of her, right? And this caught my attention because it was pretty close by, but this is of last year, and this is an update from, let's see, case last updated January 29th, 2026. And it says here Patricia Wu, missing from Tucson, Arizona. And they have a summary here. It says key facts, name. You can see her name there. Also known as Patricia. Age at disappearance 35. Last seen April 18th, 2025. So last year, coming up on almost a year. In Tucson, Arizona, vehicle found April 20th, 2025 at Windy Point, Catalina Highway, Mount Lemmon. So I was like, oh, okay, up on the mountain. 2019 white Volkswagen Tiguan. So background, originally from Hong Kong, Wu was in the US on a student visa She had recently graduated from the University of Arizona with a master's business analytics and was volunteering as a lab research assistant. That was interesting there. It says circumstances of disappearance. Wu reportedly told her husband she needed fresh air before leaving home. She was reported missing the next day, and her car was found parked at a scenic overlook. A 6-day search involved local, state, and federal agencies, including scent dogs, drones, and ground teams, yielded no results. Authorities stated that there was no evidence of foul play, but they have not ruled out any possibilities. So, and yeah, so I was like, well, how far? I was thinking, what else has happened on Mount Lemmon? So I did some searches, and there has been some other cases of some lost people, lost families, and that were found, and some other missing persons cases. But one of them stood out to me, and really quick, I wanted to take a look at. Let's see, does this show? This shows so Nancy Guthrie. I'm sure most everyone probably has heard about this. That's where I guess her house is right here where this pin is. And over here, off to the side of it, not too far, that's where Mount Lemmon is. And that's where Wu went missing from. So wanted to point that out. And I know Rusty West did point that out as well. And so I did search, checking for any other cases that maybe would stand out on the more strange tip. And I did find one that I thought was pretty interesting. I think the ones with when kids go missing and stuff like that or get lost really get my attention. And so this one here says update young child found safe after going missing on Mount Lemmon. Parents look very happy. The kid doesn't look too happy there. I'm sure he's glad to be in his parents' hands. And it says Joshua Ulcer 3 was reunited with his parents after going missing on Mount Lemmon on Tuesday, May 10th. And this is a while back. I think this is from like let's see, 2022 possibly. Yep. Published May 10th, 2022, 6:04. So it says here Tucson, Arizona. A 3-year-old boy has been found safe after going missing on Mount Lemmon Tuesday, May 10th. The Pima County Sheriff's Department confirmed Joshua Ulcer was found safe by another camper. The PCSD said Joshua was hiking with his father when he went missing around 4:10 p.m. You know, that time of 4 o'clock has been brought up by certain people that get into these types of cases. And it says near General Hitchcock Highway and Sykes Knob Road. So deputies, along with volunteers from the Southern Arizona Rescue Association and the Border Patrol Canine Unit, U.S. Customs, and the Arizona Department of Public Safety and U.S. Forest Service searched for him. The PCSD said he was found by a camper about a mile from his family's cabin in the Marshall Gulch area, and he was reunited with his family nearly 2 hours later. He was found healthy and unharmed. On another, I thought I was going to mention it here, but it said that, and I'll try to try to share that later, I guess. Let's see, is this it? Here we go. Yeah, here's another. Here's the article I wanted to read. Sorry about that. Let's see. So it says the child has been identified as 4-year-old. I think on the other one it said 3, right? Here it is, 4 p.m. And then it says went missing after going on a hike with his dad. Okay. So how does that happen? His dad turned away to look at a cabin, and Ulcer was about 1 mile up the mountain. A camper found them and called deputies. I don't know. That sounds a little weird to me, you know? And there's Juliana McGill. What's up, Juliana? My kids were never allowed to venture into tree lines out of my sight or verbal area in the mountains, says Juliana. Now they're bigger. I just teach them about free will and intent with the dash of rebuking. Yes, good stuff. Oh, much love to you, Juliana, and everyone else in the chat. Yeah, so I wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty interesting, and I'll keep diving into Mount Lemmon just to see if any other high strangeness, you know, seems to pop up. And while we're on the missing person cases, I know another one that's been headlining for several weeks now was this one of this young man here. I think we touched on it briefly, and it was an American student that went out to Spain and was partying at some club with some friends, and then he got separated from his friends and was seen outside of the club leaving the club. I don't know if they caught it on CCTV, but they said he was walking away with someone. But now that I've been diving back into some of the latest information, they're saying, I heard last that uh I guess he wasn't with anybody, and then that they someone ended up with his phone somehow. They said it was a robbery at first. So there's different things. There's also that the coroner or their medical examiner, um they announced, I guess, no foul play before he was even like medically examined, I believe is what they brought up. So there's been a lot of weird things, and we've heard about these types of cases where these people go out partying and somehow end up in water. And we've covered several of them, and I think, I'm thinking, and I'm talking about strange ways that they end up in water. Sometimes they're found in water and don't look like they've been in there that long. There's different anomalies that happen. Sometimes they end up in water with no water in their lungs, but they're declared drowned. And all this weird, the Ladybird Lake situation has been coming up a lot, and smiley face killers over in the UK. It's the UK pusher. It's been happening in different parts of the world too. So I'm thinking this, and I mentioned it when I first heard it, and yeah, we could have a listen and see what they say about this case. Now, maybe we could hear some of the updates, but I don't know. The dude looks like super healthy, big, strong, good looking guy. And for him to end up the way he did, I think is suspicious. And I get it. People are partying maybe with different things. You never know what people are partying with. But yeah, some of these drownings are, I think, pretty mysterious. Now, could there be a human element involved? I think so, like with the ladybird cases and the smiley face and all that. And I know some people, it's been presented as maybe something more paranormal, which is possible as well. Maybe it's both. I think about it that it's possible it could be both too, but yeah, wild stuff. And let's see, is this gonna play? Oh no, I think it's just it's not a video, I guess. Anyway, so anyone keeping up on this and have any new information to share, please send it my way. I'm definitely interested. And any other similar cases too. We've been keeping an eye out. There's one that happened, I believe, in Tennessee recently. It was last year, and he was a student also. I think the last ones that have happened were up in Wisconsin again, where it had happened before, and it's starting to happen again. So keep an eye out, folks. Yeah, especially if we are out partying. All right. Something else I was gonna get into tonight. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'll let y'all go in a minute. Da, da, da. Oh, yeah, there's some footage that my niece got recently, her and her partner, and, they usually hang out by the coast, like, they hang out on the coast because her partner lives on the coast. It's super cool. One of our coastal cities here, and, the coast anywhere, it's known for high strangeness, like, UFOs come up a lot, especially here in California. We're known for the UFO activity and a lot of activity off the coast. Catalina Island comes up, the Channel Islands, and just anywhere there's water, right? Um, and yesterday she was out, I guess, looking up in the sky or something. Something got their attention, and they captured what could be one of the first things that came to my mind was, all right, maybe it's a stunt drone because nowadays drones are a lot more teched out, and they have those shows too where they could do amazing things with the drones and stuff and program them, and it's just amazing, what those drones could do. So I don't know, is it a drone? We're gonna check out this clip really quick, and maybe someone could help identify what this is. So here we go. Let's see. We're gonna do like that. Quick screen share. We're almost done here, folks. I still gotta eat dinner. I was like, let me do this or else it won't get done. And anything I may miss in chat, please yeah, drop it in the comments after. Feel free to share a post. Hillary says, Dwarf, I put a link to Jeff Hardy. Oh, perfect. And Hillary, you could put a link here in the chat also. Thank you so much. Let's see. You put a link to the podcast and a link to the Oklahoma attack above. Perfect. And remember, you could share those links and stuff like that off my channel as well. Just go to the posts or the community section. People, don't be shy. If there's any news reels and stuff like that. Speaking of news reels, there's some gruesome stuff we're going to check out here. Heads up, Juliana. I actually sent this to Juliana last night. And oh, here. I gotta watch. Okay, heads up, y'all. You're gonna get to see some of my photos here. Here it is. All right. Okay. Try and get this in the screen. Uh-oh. There it is. All right. So this footage right here, right quick, is tonight's rocket launch. We were mentioning that in the beginning. So 1 second, we're gonna play that. Right on, Elder Medicine Bear Claw. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, don't be shy, folks. I know several of you in the chat have channels, so check each other out. Space Force, they weren't joking, says Juliana. And yeah, that was tonight's rocket launch, and I'm sure it was the Falcon 9, but we'll head over to the website after this, after I'm done with the show, and confirm that. And then there was some other footage I wanted to share right quick. Give me 1 second. And that is of this strange object that we were just mentioning. Let's see, it's right here. And here we go. And I'll play this a couple times. So is this a drone? Is it a UFO? UAP? It's got a tail. And it's got a tail. And they did do a couple of drawings after. We'll check that out. So I do see red and green, it looks like, maybe some colors there, which could be, are those FAA colors? But even if they are, hey, uh, I would imagine a teched out UFO could mimic FAA lights or anything, right? Airplane or that's what I would imagine. But and at the same time, I ask myself, why would they make themselves so bright? Well, maybe because they want you to see them, right? Let's run it one more time. Oh, it stopped. What the heck? We're gonna run it one more again. One more again. You think it came off the rocket? No, this is so this is Easter. This happened on Easter. The rocket was tonight. And my sources, some it's my family member. I don't know if she wants me to mention her, but she's captured and shared stuff with us before. Really good stuff. And they mentioned there was no noise. It was silent. So what could it be? And all right, they did do a couple drawings too, which is cool. And I'm gonna try and share that. Let me see. Get a look at the drawings right quick. Where'd the drawings go? Here we go. And that's what they drew. That's what they say they seen. If you go to the main channel, there should be an option to click on community or another breakout kind of group from the channel. If you run into your link I posted, you found the right place. Hilliard can't figure it out to post on my channel. Yeah, I think we've shared that before how to do that. But yeah, if you go to where it says community or posts, it should give you an option. So if you go to the and then check out your other content creators, any other channels that you check out, they should have that option also. Yeah. Oh wow, huh? Pretty trippy, right, Maya? I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, something about yeah, it's my niece. She's got that something about her, she's got it. Weird stuff be popping up around her. And luckily she gets footage. So a big thank you to her for sharing that. And we'll be keeping an eye out. I checked for any UFO reports from the area and I haven't spotted anything, but there was a California over on coast to coast. I believe they shared something there. And there is footage of this family driving by. I forget what part of California it was, but there was I think it was like four orange orbs and they start disappearing. Was it really a UAP UFO? I don't know, but feel free to check that out. And I believe that was the same day. So I'm gonna put in my notes there. All right. Some gruesome news right quick. Heads up, folks. I'm gonna share this. And I know some of you don't like the dark and morbid, but I don't know. This really got my attention and I want to share this. So whoops. So give me 1 second. Let me exit out of here. All right. Almost done here. But this is gnarly. So heads up. Make sure you do a little meditation and uplift the vibes at the end of this. Maybe I have something to do that. I mean, I'll double check, but this is some dark stuff and happened not too far from here. Long Beach is not far from here, folks. So this is pretty crazy on Easter.
That a human skull that was found in a Long Beach park. The disturbing discovery was made by a family that was on an Easter egg hunt.
And now with this news reporter Bianca Bono is.
Yeah, you heard right. A family on an Easter egg hunt finds a human skull. Yeah, let's listen to this.
Live in Long Beach with the very latest. Bianca.
Well, for nearly 20 hours, the Long Beach Police Department and investigators with the medical examiner's office were searching this area of DeForest Park, honing in here. You can still see colorful Easter eggs in this area. This is where children were searching yesterday when they came upon what we now know was a human skull. Air 7 was over the scene when investigators were here this morning, and we have blurred it, but you could clearly see a skull underneath this white tent. Police tell us it happened around 5 p.m. yesterday. We're told this area was busy with several families celebrating the Easter holiday, and there was quite the commotion when that family unfortunately came across the human remains. Police were called right away and cleared out the area, launching their investigation. We spoke with a man who said he was here when it happened, barbecuing with his family, not far from that Easter egg hunt.
We were literally like three spots down, and the family was over there. Like they had like put the eggs down, and then the kids were finding them, and out of nowhere we just hear like, "Hey, Dad, Mom, there's like some bones over there," and yeah, we just everybody went over there. They called the police, and then that's when they showed up, and it was really tragic. I started crying. It hurt my soul.
Fuentes said he did briefly walk over and saw what his children found, describing it as small. This morning, we're told members of the medical examiner's special operations response team came out to the scene. We watched them clear the area just before noon today, taking the recovered remains back to their forensic science center. Again, police confirmed to us it was in fact a human skull that was found right here. The ME's office will now work to determine the person's identity and, of course, what happened to them. Reporting live in Long Beach, Bianca Bono, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right. And on another note, still on the Easter tip, I want to share this before we head out. Listen to the wording here, and I'm happy that there was an incident over in Iran with some of our jets. I believe one was shot down, one or two, was it? And they had to rescue some of the fighter pilots, and one got saved, right? What was it? It was two of them, I believe it was, and one of them got rescued, and then there was a second one that they went in and pulled this mission and rescued him, which is amazing, right? That's awesome. Yeah, we don't want our guys getting hurt. Sorry, I wasn't sharing the screen there. All right, so we're gonna have a listen right quick before we say goodnight. Check this out.
How did the Americans do this? One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first
Y'all catch that? It was like, it's like, whoa. You got to check his eyes just in case anything happened there. But hold up, have a listen. This is interesting. We talk about, the occult, rituals on certain days, alignments, astrological alignments. Have a listen.
first message was simple and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. Despite incoming fire.
Yes, sir. God is good. But that was interesting how he said that. Anyway, y'all, we'll leave you with that. And I want to thank everybody for hanging out tonight. I appreciate the support always. And I love supporting you all as well. I'll get on top of that donation, let you know how that all goes. And again, thank you to Elder Medicine Bear Claw for having 5 on it. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Hopefully anyone else Okay, I think I got everything right there, right on. Yeah, I don't want to miss anyone and then be like, hey man, we had 5 on that too, and we weren't able to be part of the. Oh, we got that. All right, y'all. Much love, everyone. Y'all be safe in this wild world, and I hope to see you all tomorrow somewhere on these YouTube streets, or maybe in person. We'll be open tomorrow. Sky's the limit smoke shop. Y'all know what's up. Come tap in, say what's up to your boy. Where are we? Right here. Oh no, that's not it. It's this one. There we go. 3925 East Olympic Boulevard, East Los Angeles, California. Can we get some lasers on the way out, please? Come on, camera. Oh no. Whatever. Camera's not giving us any play.